There we go. All right. If you don't know me, my name is Amy Netzel. Most people call me Miss Amy just because it's easy for little kids to say. I am married, but just shorter than Mrs. Netzel for the little tiny ones. I'm the director of children's ministries here at VCB, and I talk fast. I'm very sorry. Just tell me to slow down if I'm going too fast. I don't want to keep you longer than you have to be here, so I tend to zoom through everything. We are so thankful that each one of you is here, that you are giving up your week next week to come be a part of our super fun, awesome, wonderful sports and arts camp. So we will get right to it. Our theme this year is Masterpiece. So we do a different theme every year. This one is very art themed. But overall, the vision of Camp VCB Sports and Arts Camp is to have kids and volunteers, because we do have some volunteers who come help us out, who don't actually go to church anywhere, or have a relationship with God. So kids and volunteers learn about the love of Jesus and discover how they can meet God and grow in the relationship with him. We focus on one point each day, which I'll get to in just a moment, and that helps them remember what they've learned each day. So we do a sports and arts camp. We have done this now for several years in place of a traditional VBS. Many of us grew up with Vacation Bible School. That was just the normal thing. Everybody went. Nowadays, especially unchurched families, are a lot less open to sending their kids to something called a Bible school. But they will send them to something called a sports and arts camp, even though we are very clear about what we teach and what we share, and even though it's in a church. So that's one of the reasons that we switched from traditional VBS to a sports and arts camp. The other thing is, and if you've been here before, you've heard me talk about this. When I first started volunteering, before I was ever even on staff, we did the traditional VBS. Super fun, super crazy, super chaotic. You get like 20 minutes here, and 5 of that is cleanup, and 5 of that is setup. So you got like 10 minutes for them to get their craft done. And then you zoom over here, and you have like 25 minutes here, and then over here to this station. And the whole time you're just like frenetically trying to get through all these stations and get to the end. It's like, whew, did they learn anything? So one of the reasons that we switched is so that kids can choose a sport. There we go, sport. A word for both, a sport or an art all week to focus on and take their time. When you guys have the kids in your elective, it's a little bit slower. It's a little bit more relaxed. It's not like, oh my gosh, we have to finish this before we go to craft or Bible story or whatever it is. So they have a lot more time there. And then it also allows us to spend a good amount of time on the Bible story. So both the opening session, the small group Bible lesson in the middle, and the closing session do have that component of a traditional VBS. We actually buy curriculum from a place that sells VBS curriculum, and we use all of that to form the basis of what we're doing. And then we fill in the rest with the sports and arts. Because obviously, the part about God, the part about learning the Bible is the most important. So like I said, this year our focus is Masterpiece. We are helping kids learn about God, right, the master artist, and that he wants relationship with them, his creation. And like I said, we go through that in the opening and the closing sessions, which we tend to call rallies. Because when we started doing this, it was like champions and rallies, and it was all sports-based. So we kind of carried over some of the terminology and during that small group time. Now, I certainly hope that each of you has a daily prayer time and a devotional time. It's a time that you spend focusing your heart and mind on God before you start your day, or maybe at the end of the day. If you don't currently have something you're doing, this is one that I came across in the Bible app. Sorry, you can't see it very well. The contrast is not great. It's called God's Masterpiece. It's a very simple 5-day Bible study. But if that's something that you don't have anything you're currently doing right now, and you just want to spend maybe 10 minutes every morning before you come, this is actually a really, really great one to do. It's, like I said, it's simple. It's not like you're going to be digging super, super deep into scripture and what it means. It's just kind of an overview, like a really good start to your morning about who we are, who God made us to be, how we can ignore what the world is telling us to be and focus on him. So I highly encourage you to check that out. If you already have a Bible study you do, super awesome, great, love it. But this is one that I recommend if you don't. Anybody still taking pictures? All right, so just overall, these are the 5 days. Day 1, the theme is God, the master artist. The Bible story is the creation story from Genesis 1. And the point that the kids remember is God created everything. Day 2 is God's masterpiece. We learned that Adam and Eve were created from Genesis 1 and 2. And the thing that the kids remember is I am God's masterpiece. Day 3 is designed with a purpose. And we learn about the original sin, Genesis 1 through 3. One really big thing that we do, whether it's VBS or sports and arts camp, is teach the gospel. There's a lot of kids that come that either have never heard it or have never made the choice to give their lives to God and accept him as their savior. So we want to be very clear every year that we do this to tell the gospel story. So that's obviously all throughout, but especially on day 3, we start talking about sin and that God made me to be with him. Day 4, the big picture, the life of Joseph, and God has a perfect plan for me. And we give a gospel presentation that day, especially in the small groups. We give the kids a chance to pray that prayer if they have not already. It used to be, years ago, we would do it in the big rally time. And I'm sure you probably have noticed, if you volunteered for a long time, that after we prayed the prayer, we would ask the kids who did it, and all these hands would shoot up, and the kids are like, I don't know why I'm raising my hand, but my friend is. So we want to be very intentional. Obviously, if you're praying a prayer for salvation, for God to be the Lord of your life, that is a super, super important thing. And we want to make sure that that's not just happening en masse, or you don't even know what you did, or you don't remember, or you don't understand. So a couple years ago, we started bringing that down to the small group level. So each small group leader has a group of between 5 and 9 kids that they go through every day's Bible story with. So ideally, if we get enough help, we have volunteers that are with those kids every day, the whole week. So they are getting to know them. They are teaching them. They're learning alongside them. And by the time it gets to the day that we do the gospel presentations, they know those kids. They kind of know, like, all right, that one says they did it, but I'm not quite sure, or that one, like, really did understand. And that way they can form relationships with them. They can talk to them one-on-one and really see if they understand, if they did make that choice. And of course, love on them otherwise, teach them the Bible otherwise. So I realize not every child will do that this week. Many already have. But especially that's why we brought that down to the small group level. We have these decision cards that will be in your backpack that if a child did pray that prayer, we want to get their information down, and then that way we can make sure that we get them a Bible, we get them a Bible reading plan, we follow up with them, because as you know, becoming a Christian is amazing, but then it helps to have people walk through that with you. So especially if they don't have a church, or if they don't have Christians in their life to help teach them, we want to make sure we give them at least a little bit of next steps. And yes, like I said, we will give a Bible to children who make that decision. Some of them already have a Bible, but many of them do not. We also have extra Bibles. If you find out that any kid in any of your groups doesn't have their own Bible at home, we are happy to give them one. Yes, sorry, I stumble over my words at the end of the day. So yes, like I said, we have Bibles. Just let me know if you need one for any of the kids. And then on to day 5. So obviously you make that choice. Then what? So then we learn Paint the World, and Philip shares his faith. And this is for all kids, even if they have already made that decision before. I will share God's love wherever I go. So we teach them, like I said, next steps, so that then they can learn to share their faith as they go. All right, sorry for all the tiny little writing. I'll just read through this super quick. We have 10 different electives, and then a bunch of side things going on. So basketball, if I call your name and you're here, just raise your hand so people know who you are. Because some of you guys might have not met your champion yet. So basketball, I don't think any of them are here today. Steve and Rachel Zahn and Cassie Herlog are all leading that. Soccer, Christina Kavanaugh and Lauren Gleason, also not here. Hockey, Andrew Hayes and Tony Marino, both at that table over there. Thank you, gentlemen. Taekwondo is my husband, James Netzel. Kindergarten, Brittany Gutierrez. Sewing is going to be Susan Bilal. Thank you. They're out of order, sorry. The opening and closing sessions are led by Brandon Munchak, who, if y'all know Arlona, that's her husband. He is our main character this year, Victor Von Varnish. Super fun. And then Carrie Stark is going to be leading the songs. So they kind of co-lead all of that together. And then back to sessions. Science, we have Carol Petrucia in the back. Mrs. P, as the kids know her. Fun with Fiber Arts is Christy Schnell. Arts and Crafts is Amy Lewis in the back. Musical theater is led by Shelley Kibler. Snacks are headed up by Eva Zielinski and Carol Rode. So they will bring all your snacks to you each day and give you exactly enough for the amount of kids in your groups and all that fun stuff. Tech and photography, so Arlona heads that up. Several of the kids work with her, the teenagers, and they learn how to run the soundboard and how to do the, whatever their version of PowerPoint is and all that kind of stuff. So they learn how to run the tech that is actually helpful for weekend services, but also for special events like Camp VCB. And then they do a lot of little projects for us here and there as well during the week. Wes Johnson is no longer our student pastor. However, we have not hired anyone yet. So we have a temporary part-time person, but they can't be here during the week. So he is still heading up the youth during the week. And then if you don't know, we have a program called Mission Homefront where our middle school students can sign up for the week. They help all morning in Camp VCB. And in the afternoons, they do a local mission trip type of thing. They might do Feed My Starving Children, or they might go door to door collecting food, things like that. So they have different projects they do all week for that. And he heads that up with Arlona. Family fun night. We have a coordinator this year, the wonderful Tanya Hayes. Yay. So she is heading up all of that. And then the Camp VCB leadership team. We've been meeting at least once a month since January, doing all the planning and preparing and figuring out details. So thank you so much to all of these people, especially those ladies. Carol Petrucia, Tanya Hayes, Karen Walter is here. Heidi Tinknell and Rachel Kieran. Since it was art themed this year, Heidi and Rachel both jumped in to help because they are both amazing artists. So that is all the lead people. And since we're doing art, we had to go with primary colors. So the kids, unless they're in kindergarten, will be in yellow. The leaders, unless they're helping in kindergarten, will be in blue. And both leaders and kids who are helping in kindergarten are red. Did I say that properly? The biggest reason for that is because if a little kindergartner gets lost and doesn't know where he's going, he's probably going to cry rather than remember to say, oh yeah, I'm in the kindergarten group. So it's very easy to be like, oh, red shirt, like they need to be over here. So, and then that way they can find their leaders too. So all of those people are red. They know exactly who their leaders are. At the end of the day, when we walk them out to their cars, we always make sure we have a kindergarten leader with a kindergarten kid, things like that. So they know how to find their people. All right, and then yeah, so that's the front and backs of the shirts, which you already know because you've already picked them all up. We don't normally have them by Thursday, so I normally have to show you what they're going to look like, but I guess I didn't have to do that. Anyway, all right, the wonderful Miss Hart is going to come up and explain a couple of things to us. I guess I talk about registration bags, don't I? Yeah, go. So we'll have the bags ready by Saturday. We send out an email to all the families, hey, come pick up your bags. We love if they actually come in advance and get them because it's the shirts for their kids, which they, might want to wash beforehand, but then also they can wear it in on Monday morning. But also they get like a plate in their bag with their last name on it. And they put it in their dashboard, so when they pull up to get their kids, we see the last name right away, and that helps us with the whole pickup process. And then there's some more information. There's a double-sided handout with all the information they need for the week, some information about our church if they don't attend here, just things like that. So anyway, we will have all those bags ready to go on Saturday. So if you have kids or siblings that you need to get those, just watch for that email, and you'll be able to come pick it up. I believe starting at like 2 on Saturday, 2 till like 6:30, and then Sunday anytime from 8:45 until, I don't know, 1 o'clock, I think. Oh, no, anytime, because we're here all day. That's right. We're here all day Sunday. It's setup day. I'll get to that. All right. Like I said, Carol and Evan do snacks. We already know about all the kids' allergies and things like that. I'm actually going to be confirming with parents who listed allergies so that we have a list for them. So you should have a list with your snacks of which kids can't have those snacks that day. So shouldn't have to be any figuring out. If there is a kid who's like, I can't have that, and they don't have anything else, then it's like, all right, sorry if your mom didn't send you a snack and you're pretty sure you can't have this, we'll have like some extra raisins and stuff, but otherwise it's a pretty tiny snack anyway, so they could just skip snack that day. And then you're going to talk about group backpacks and the other thing too. Okay, come on. This is the wonderful Miss Hart.
Okay, every elective is going to have a backpack that looks like this, might be a different color, and the backpack needs to stay with your group the entire week. Anywhere you go in the church, or if you're in soccer, you need to take it with you to the soccer field and bring it back in. Probably the most important thing in the bag is there will be a clipboard with the roster of your kids in group. Some groups like to, as kids come in the morning, just kind of note who's here so they have a head count for when we're walking around the building. I don't think it's necessary that they check them off when they leave at the end of the day, but some groups, just for thoroughness, as the kids are leaving, they like to do that too. But it'll just have a list of who the kids are, who you'll have during the day. Now, sometimes a kiddo has a vacation day and they don't come on Tuesday. If they don't show up in the morning, you don't track them for the day, but just keep track of that. Also on that clipboard will be a stack of decision cards. The small group leaders will know what to do with those if a child accepts Christ while they're here with us at Camp VCB. I'm going to give you a little tour of the backpack so everybody knows what's inside. Tissues, hand sanitizer, a small amount of Band-Aids. Amy will talk about how bad of an injury she needs to hear about. But a lot of the kids, children, it's like invisible. And they're like, my finger hurts. Go ahead and use these. But if it's something larger than that, you can get in contact with Amy. So just a few of those. And then pens for checking off rosters and a marker. So those will all be in the front. And then in the main part of the backpack will be the roster, clipboard, and those decision cards. And then if I can fit it all of the small group supplies will be in the backpack. But we have quite a bit of small group supplies this year, so I may have to kind of give a supplemental black, fabric grocery bag. But there should be a bag like this for each small group. And then on Wednesday, there'll be another bag for each small group. And then on Friday, there will be another bag for each small group. So these will show up during the week. I will be the backpack fairy and put things in for you as you need them. So just keep all of that together and, make sure that the backpack is with you at all times. And then just the last thing, we thought it would be fun this year because we're doing an art theme, even though some of the kids will be in soccer or sports, to have a small group just 10 minutes every day to do a very small art project. And so the kids are going to build a little portfolio that they're going to take home with them. So on Monday, they'll color the sticker on the front. On Tuesday, they'll color a bookmark and stick it inside. On Wednesday, they'll make a thumbprint art painting and stick it inside. And so throughout the week, they will be building their own little portfolio. And then on Friday, everybody is going to get the take-home prize, which is a highlighter that has a sticker with the theme verse on it, and then just some other Bible verses. And so the small group leaders will have the kids tuck these in here, seal them up with a little clip, and then the kids can take them home. The thing we want all volunteers to be aware of is these are going to be in the sanctuary at some point, either during the closing or even if a small group leader decides to hand it out at the end of closing on Friday. The kids are milling around waiting for their parents to come get them. We do not want them to open the highlighters and draw on anything in the sanctuary. So everybody on Friday, keep your eyes open. This isn't washable ink. And the kindergartners are not getting them at all for that reason. So only the older kids, but still during that kind of squirrely 20 minutes while they're waiting for cars to come get them, just keep your eyes out. Don't let them open them and draw and stuff. So,
Thanks. Two more things about that. With the backpacks, like she said, take it everywhere with you. At the end of the day, those backpacks have to be in one of your pews because she's going to come after we're done for the day and restock them for the next day. And far too many times that I can count, we have to go hunt some down because they got left in a room or left in a car or somebody has it or whatever. So bring the backpack back with you to closing and just leave it in the pew when you're done, right at the end of the pew. And then you may have said this, I may have missed it, but the art portfolio, they don't take it home with them each day. You keep the whole manila folder for each child in the backpack. And then on Friday, whenever the process is to get it to them at the very end, then they take it home. So like she said, if you want them holding it in closing, or if you want it like as they check out, hand it to them, however we figure that out. But yeah, so that's, if they take it home, half of them will forget to bring it back. So make sure that the portfolios stay in the backpack all week. All right, real quick, this is a map of the lower level of the building. We haven't changed a whole lot, so it's the same map from like 2 years ago, so tiny bit of change. But anyway, basketball and hockey share the gym. They also use this little, I'll come over here. This little room over here for some small group stuff, and then some of them will be spending some time outside as well. Sewing is in 122. It's not called Biblical Science this year, that was from Lego, but anyway, science is in this room, kids' church room. And we don't have nursery because there's only a couple little kids, and they're all like 4 and older. So they're going to join the kindergarten group again this year. So kindergarten uses kind of all of this, depending on what they're doing. Crafts is in 107 in the back, and then fun fiber arts is in the back corner over here. I think that's everything. This room right here, so as you came in over here, before you turned the corner, right on that corner is the supply room. It's got a masterpiece sign on the window. That is where all of the materials are for all week for each of the electives. So the champions know, they know where to come and get their stuff, but they might send one of you guys to go get it. Just go right to the table that's marked with your stuff and take whatever from there. But don't take anything from anybody else's table. There are some items that are the same on multiple tables. So don't be like, oh, cups, we need cups. Those must be ours. No, they're all like for the specific group that they're for. So if you can't find it on your table, let me know or let your champion know right away. But everything should be there by Saturday. This is the upper level. So right above the sewing room is Taekwondo. I'm so sorry, sewing people. You will have some pounding as they run back and forth. The main big room in the middle of the building upstairs, if you're not familiar, the connecting place, that's where we meet every morning for our volunteer meetings. 8:15 on Monday, 8:30 the rest of the week. I'll get to that. And also where there's snacks for you guys. Instead of giving you each a $5 Starbucks gift card at the end of the week for helping, we provide snacks for you every morning. So it's different than the kids' snacks. Hopefully it's a little bit nicer. But that will be in there. Most of you are going to grab that when you get there in the morning before everything starts. We don't want those snacks where the kids are. So don't take those into your group. Don't take them into the sanctuary. Enjoy those when you have a few minutes outside of when you're with the kids. Pretty much all of you will have at least a little bit of time here and there. Maybe you don't help with a small group and you can come get some then or before or whatever it is. But yeah, keep those snacks separate from the kids. The kids do get a snack every day during small group time. And for the rest of you, that's not for you. So sit with them, help them. Even if you're not even leading a small group, you're just sitting there helping. Don't eat those because they're counted out exactly for the kids in the group, not for the leaders. But if you're hungry, come on up and get some snacks. Musical theater is mostly in the youth room. They probably wanted to use this year, but it's a bigger group, they do. And then in the sanctuary is where we do all the opening and closing sessions. If you're not familiar, this is the front entrance out on Lake Cook Road to the church. So that will be helpful as we look at this horrible, not to scale slide. Pretend that the church is a very long, narrow building. All right, so Lake Cook Main is up here. I want everyone to be familiar with the drop-off and pick-up process, even if you're not helping with it, because people will ask you, or somebody may be lost, or whatever it is. So if we all have an understanding of what's going on, that is better. So for drop-off, they come in on the entrance side, come all the way down here, and this is super not to scale because they have to go all the way to the very back of the parking lot, which is that way. But anyway, so get all the way to the back corner, all the way across, and then all the way up here. And you'll understand if you ever look out there during drop-off time, because with 218 kids coming, that is a lot of cars. So they all pull up in that way. They stop right here. And then when we're ready, we let some cars come over here, and we will go out and get the kids from each car and bring them in. And then they pull off and they leave. Well, that's the easy part. The pickup process is a lot more complicated. We give families two options. They can either park in the back and walk in, and they form like a pickup line, or they can pull up through this whole line again and wait for their kids, and then we will bring them out. That's when they have the car placed in their window, and we bring their kids out to them. They have to wait quite a while. If they want their kids first, like right at 12:02, when we first start dismissing kids, they have to get here by like 11:30 to get in line first, because that line does start as early as 11:30. If they don't come until 12, they're not going to have their kids until like 12:20, 12:25. I mean, it just takes a long time for us to safely get each kid to each car and make sure that we know we're keeping them all safe and every kid gets where they need to go. So there will be some impatient parents. I am so sorry. I wish there weren't, but we will have adults out in the parking lot helping. If you are a teen, Wes is going to head up that whole process if he asks you to help with that. And any parent or anyone who's rude to you, just walk away and go tell Wes or another adult, and they will deal with it, because you guys absolutely should not have to deal with that. All right, so yes, Wes is going to assign a couple teens to help with that process. Like I said, the kindergarten kids have to have a kindergarten leader. So we start calling names at the very end. We have a whole list of all the cars and all the walk-ins who are here ready to pick up kids. And as soon as the closing session is done, they're going to start reading off those lists. They're going to say, basketball, Smith, and science, Smith, or whatever it is. A leader from each of those groups has to walk out with that child, walk to the board where the names are, and then make sure that name gets crossed off. And then one leader can take those kids out, except if you have a kindergarten kid with you who the kindergarten leader comes with. We just want those littlest kids to have somebody from their group holding their hand all the way out to their car. Walk them all the way out to their car, wait till they get in, smile, say goodbye, see you tomorrow, and then you're done. Then you can come back in for the next one. Don't let kids run away from you to get to their car. Don't leave before they get to their car. If it's like, oh, that's your own, okay, bye. You got to make sure they get all the way to their car. You're not buckling them or anything like that, but make sure they are at their car before you leave them. And then come back in for more. All right. That is all of that fun information. All right. Quickly, the schedule for each day. Monday, 8:15, the rest of the week, 8:30. Like I said, meet in the connecting place. We will go over any notes that we have for you guys for that day, and we'll have a short devotional, and we'll pray, and then we'll go be ready to welcome the kids at 8:45. If you are bringing siblings with you or children with you, like campers, they may come with you at that time, and they're going to go right across the hall into the youth room, where we will have a separate volunteer team hanging out with them while we have our volunteer meeting. So do come at the time we tell you to come, even if you're bringing campers with you. And at 8:45, we start letting kids in from the cars, and we take all those kids from the youth room back into the sanctuary for the opening session, which starts at 9. And then these things right here are in italics because it is up to the champion of each group how they want to structure their time. They have to do the small group at some point during their morning. Some choose to do it at the very end. Some do it towards the beginning. Some do it in the middle. So if you're helping out and you're like, wait, we're not following this exactly, that's totally fine. It's this time and this time that you need to pay attention to. You're going to start at 9:35. You're going to be done by 11:45. But how the middle of that happens is totally up to your champion. And then at 11:50, be back in the worship center. The closing is only 10 minutes. So please don't be late. I know we are all trying to finish up our projects and get all sorts of stuff done. But you really need to finish by 11:45 so that you have the time to get back up there and get your kids in their pews so we can finish. And then we go until 12:10 on Friday. We do an extra 10 minutes. We invite all the parents to come on in, sit with us, and just have a little bit of a taste of what we did all week. And the kids love to sing their songs and have all that fun stuff for their parents watching. And then that pickup process is a little more complicated because a lot of the parents are there. We'll explain all that in one of the volunteer meetings. Bathroom breaks are up to the champions. So each of you who is leading a group, locate whichever bathrooms are closest to your rooms, and then figure out when you're going to have scheduled bathroom breaks, but then also let your leaders know what to do if there's a kid who has to go at a different time. All right. The same code that you used to get in tonight is the code that will get you in each morning at 8:15 or 8:30. Do not give that to any kids. Do not give that to, oh, our neighbors are coming, but they're not volunteers. No, don't give it to them. This code is only for volunteers. We want to make sure that we control access to our building. There will be a code for parents at that just at the beginning or just at the end if they're parking and coming in, but that's a different code. So this is the one only for volunteers that will work all morning. So if you have to go out to your car and get something, the doors are going to be locked, but use that code to get back in. All right, so lots of little bits of information. When you guys are in the pews at the opening session and the closing session, like I said, we call the rallies, sit with the kids. So a lot of times we'll have like a whole row of kids and another whole row of kids and then the leaders behind them. No, intersperse yourself with the kids so that you can help them pay attention. You can just, do everything with them, sing with them, do the motions with them, all that stuff. This year we have to, well, I think last year we did too, we have to use those side pews, the short ones. So same thing, don't let it be like, 6 rows of kids and then you're all in the back. Like sit with them, sit in between them so that you can just be there. It'd be a good example to them of, how we do worship in the sanctuary and help if any issues come up. Okay, so, sorry, this should have been with the bathroom point. Especially in the sanctuary, do not let any kid leave without a leader. Some kid in the middle is going to be like, I have to go to the bathroom. Okay, great. Well, I'm coming with you. And that it's okay to be one-on-one because you're only going right here where all the other adults are. Any other time you can't be one-on-one. But if you're just coming out of the sanctuary, walking right there in view to the bathroom, and then you just stay in the hallway. Yes?
Just one more thing about the sanctuary setup this year. We're gonna try putting an elective in each of the wings. So in years past, all the electives were right in the 2 center aisles or in the pews in the middle. But this year, we're gonna put basketball on one whole wing and science on the other whole wing. So especially on Monday morning, the kids may be looking for the signs for their electives down in a row. They won't find basketball or science because they'll be spread to the sides. So that's different than how we've done it before. So just keep an eye out for that, especially early in the week.
Right, yeah. And especially if they come late or whatever, we'll have to help them get up to their correct area. But yeah, if you know the sanctuary, you know that the middle 2 sets of pews are very long. They're like 7-person pews, whereas the 2 on the sides are like 4-person pews, so a lot shorter. So, nice. All right. And then also, yes, when they're getting picked up, a kid might hear their name and just start to take off. Make sure that you have eyes on all your campers at pickup, and that they, lock eyes on somebody that that they're ready to leave. They got called, and then one of you walks them out. Sometimes it's just a lot of loud noise. We try to keep everybody a little bit quiet while all those names are being called, but yeah, they might hear their name before you do and then take off. So remind them, they can't do that. They got to stay with you, and one of you has to walk them out. An issue that has come up a little bit in the past, especially during the morning, not really during the opening and closing, but say like you're in here or you're in a room by the gym and some kids go to the bathroom, you don't go in with them because, we want to make sure that we're following our rules. You stay in the hallway. But we've been finding a lot of like locked stalls, toilet paper piled up all over the place, water all over the place. So just keep your foot in the door. Don't let them be completely unsupervised. We just want to make sure that, they are respecting our building while we follow all of our safety rules about not being alone in the bathroom with them. So, fine balance there. But yeah, just help them remember that we need to respect this building. Along those lines, I do mention this during the morning meetings, but just remind the kids that we are in God's house. This church has so graciously let us completely take over. Nothing else happens during the mornings of this next week. And that's very rare because we're a very busy church. But we take over the entire building, and it's a lot. We have, like I said, 218 kids, over 100 volunteers. There's going to be wear and tear. That's a given. That's totally fine. But just do the best they can to respect the building, to take care of it the best they can. No standing on tables, no walking on couches in the connecting place. All those common sense things that we know. But I know we get very tired, and sometimes we don't always remember to enforce those things. So just help them remember that we are in God's house. All right, youth volunteers. Thank you so much for being here. You guys are amazing. You are so full of energy, especially when we run out. Just a couple reminders. I know that so many of you signed up to help with a friend in the same elective. Totally fine. That's awesome. I love it. Just remember that that's secondary to helping out. So your primary goal is to be here to help and to serve. So always look for ways that you can be serving. Don't be just hanging out in the back waiting to be told something. Interact with the kids as much as you can. If you know some of them, if it's your little sister, if it's your neighbor, don't act like, favorites. You got to treat everybody the same. Connect with each of them, but do everything you can to just look for ways to serve. Have the attitude of like, what can I do to help? So that your champions are not having to like pull you in and, okay, I need you over here. They shouldn't have to be managing you guys, which I know you're all super wonderful and amazing, but sometimes you wait to be, given a task. Look for those things, ask what you can do, and just be proactive in that way. And then champions, remember, if you guys have like 6th grade volunteers, try not to pair them up with like the 5th graders. Because that's just a weird, that was them last year. That's their friends from, So try to have the really young helpers help the younger kids. I know that doesn't always work out, but if possible, that makes it work better. We are not taking phones from you. We don't want you back on your phone the whole time. I'm not going to take yours away, but really we should never see your phones. They should be in your pockets the whole time. Again, I'm mostly talking to the youth, parents. Adults, I'm not worried about you guys, but I know we are a very phone-heavy society right now. We just use our phones all the time, and that's a normal part of life, but calling, texting, that can all happen afterwards, all right? And you can't even really be taking pictures of the kids. We have an official photography team who they are the ones who can take the pictures and the videos that we can use on social media, in our weekend services, things like that. But no one can be posting things on their own social media. So don't, if the tech team has asked you to take a picture, do it real quick, put your phone away, and then get that to them later. But otherwise, you shouldn't be taking any pictures of the kids. And yeah, it's just a really good reason to unplug for a couple hours each day and not have any tech. I have never had to make this rule before, but I just felt a very strong urging to do it this year. I think more and more younger kids are getting phones. So I'm actually going to send that out in my next parent email that we have absolutely no phones among campers. I won't even explain that there are exceptions, because if the parents need the exception, they'll let me know. Like, I know we have one boy who's a type 1 diabetic. He has to keep his phone on him because that's his blood sugar. Totally fine. Like, that they know that's acceptable. But for any other reason, I don't want any of these campers having phones. They just need to leave them home. Parents know if they need anything, they can call me, they can call the church office. But yeah, we definitely don't want that distracting them from what they are here to do. We have a safety and security team here at the church, and these lovely people, my in-laws, will be with us all week just doing safety and security. You'll see them roaming around, so I just wanted you to see their pictures. They don't wear VCB shirts, so pretty much everyone you see should be in a shirt, but just so you know, church staff, which I'm not showing all their pictures. But anyway, you'll see these guys roaming around. They're going to help with drop off and pick up. They're just going to make sure everybody is where they should be, and there's not anyone here that shouldn't be. They're also both first aid trained, so if you need anything, talk to them, talk to me. If any of you are like nurses or former EMTs or anything like that, let me know, just so we have a list of people who it's like, oh, if we have something a little bit more that we can handle, but not quite like call 911, we know we can like just check with somebody who has more knowledge. Yes, okay. So, like Karen said, you have little tiny backpacks in your bag. You have little tiny Band-Aids in your backpack. See, I'm losing my words. If there's anything more than just a tiny, tiny, tiny little like paper clip or paper cut, see, wow, words. Paper cut or tiny, tiny little scrape, anything like that, I need to know about it. Because that kid's going to go home and maybe not clearly explain to mom and dad what happened, and then I'm going to hear about it from them and not know what happened. So let me know about anything more than just like a tiny Band-Aid, especially like head bumps, even if there isn't blood, or anything that just needs, a little bit of treatment. If there's anything more serious than that, just let me know right away, and I can come just kind of evaluate whether we need to call for outside help or not. But if you know it's like, if you would call 911 at home for it, just do that. Do that first and then tell me. That is obviously the most important. to call them first and get on the way. That would be like broken bone, more blood than, you can stop with just like a paper towel. Well, don't call 911 for that. Anyway, bleeding, just like you would at home. Like if it's a lot of blood, head injuries that make them I would for sure lose consciousness, but even if they're just like really, really out of it, something like that, we want to make sure that we're being super careful. Now, check with your champion. Okay, the champion should be the one making that call. If they're not there, then at least an adult leader in the room needs to make that call. I don't want teenagers calling 911, all right? But anyway, if you do not have my number in your phone, get your phone out right now and put it in your phone. If you have never called or texted me before, send me a text with your name, and then I will save your contact info. Call me or text me about anything, seriously, all the time, pretty much anytime. I stay up late, but I'm happy to answer any questions. So let me know. And I kind of forgot this before, but I let you guys know who your champions are for each thing. I'm kind of like all of their champion. So I'm the one who is here to support all of you. I'm here to help make sure all of this runs smoothly and take care of any issues that come up. So please come to me with anything. All right, and then our fundraiser this year is the same as the past couple of years. Our church sends missions trips to an orphanage in Costa Rica every year, and we're going to raise funds for them again. So every day we have a boys versus girls competition, and it starts out with like a couple of pennies, and by the end of the week we're getting 20s because the kids are so excited about beating the other group. You get nothing but bragging rights, but they love to do that boys versus girls competition, and it helps us raise a ton of money for an amazing organization. So that is during the opening each day, and then we'll give an update at the closing each day of who is winning. And then we give a little bit of an update about that organization. Karn was one of the ones who went on the trip last year, so she'll give the updates each day, tell some stories about those kids and what they do there. All right, expectations. This is an enormous responsibility. If you guys have done this before, you know that. There is so much of your heart and soul and energy that you pour into this week. And I just wanted to tell you that God has put each of you in this time, in this place, for a reason. We're not just signing up for a week of fun. We're not just signing up to, I'm going to go hang out with my friends and, I'll kind of help where needed. Like, if that's you, I'm 100% fine with you being like, oh, sorry, I can't help. I need you all in. I need commitment, and I need your hearts to be in a good place to listen to God, to learn, and to share that with the kids. So, those of you who are ready to step up and accept that place, that role that God has given you, just be ready for your lives to be changed. It's such an amazing week. It's so much fun. God is going to work in you and through you and in the lives of these precious children. We have had some, especially adult volunteers, the past couple of years that had never helped before. And they signed up to help. And afterwards they said, why did I wait so long? That was amazing. I can't even explain how amazing it was and how I saw God work. So we are so excited for all of you to be on our team. We are striving to create an environment that is what I just explained. Is people that are here wholeheartedly, who love God, who love to serve, and who that's like their priority in life. If you were here last year and you remember Kevin Lundy as our main character, that just personifies him. He's, just all in, 100%, whatever he can do to honor God and to point others to him. So I'm so glad that all of you are here and willing to do that as well. Obviously, you're already here. You have already committed. I know that. But as you also know, recruitment is a huge job. I've reached out to you guys many times. Hey, get your friends, talk to your neighbors, talk to your small group. We need more help. In order to make this work really well, we need so many people to fill in all the gaps. So as I said before, ideally, you guys are serving all day, every day, all week. Some of you are jumped into the last minute to serve and you can't do all week. I totally get that. No worries at all. But just so you know, like if you're thinking about next summer, that's the ideal. Get those dates marked on your calendar and just plan on being here the whole week. Because as I mentioned, those kids form a relationship with you, and by the end of the week, you are like a parent or a grandparent or an aunt or an uncle to them, and they are just so excited to see you again. I didn't know if anybody would want to share any kind of memory, any kind of story, any kind of like, hey, this happened, and I just wanted to share that, either about being a volunteer or just something that happened with a kid or anything like that. If not, it's totally fine. I just thought I'd throw it out there for anyone who might want to share anything. I'm gonna take a drink.
I got one.
All right.
Well, Aaron and I were home last year.
Yeah.
And one of the little guys, I forgot his name, but was so cute. And she gave me the shortest line.
Oh.
Look like he got it.
Yeah.
He got it. And he was so enthusiastic. And after you made Aaron's phone.
Yeah. No, I love it. That kind of thing is, yeah, it makes your day. The kids that, struggle at the beginning, but then by the end they get it, and it's just so fun to watch that. Anybody else want to share any memories or, yeah?
I've been doing the same volunteer thing for, I think, like 4 years now. I've been doing musical theater, and I always get this one girl who always comes back, and so every time she sees me or I see her, even just on a random Sunday, it's like, oh, hi, Gwen. It's like, how are you doing?
Yeah.
And it just reminds me of how important it is to, like, invest in each of these kids. Because it's important to them. Like, they see you, they light up, they're like, oh my gosh, I know you. They can talk to you.
So true. Thank you. All right. Anybody else? I'll move on. Yes. Oh, two more. All right.
I had to get all emotional here, but it was through Vacation Bible School that I would say, and it was because of a senior girl named Jill Swanson, who in 1976 asked if I wanted to become a believer in Christ. So what you kids are doing, if someone comes to you, my gosh, you're gonna make a big difference in their life.
I'm so thankful for that in your life. My mom got saved at VBS. Same thing. She didn't go to church at all, but she went to a neighborhood VBS and found God. So, yeah, amazing. Did you want to share, Helen?
Yeah, this is mostly for the young people that are helping in the classes. Last year I was in arts and crafts, and it's important for all of us adults to help, but the kids do relate to the teenagers and youth helpers. I had one little girl, I was trying my best to help her with one of the crafts, and she went down to the other end of the table by one of the student helpers, and she told me to go take my seat. We got not believe it. It was so funny. She just wanted to be with one of the students.
Love it. And that reminds me too, like you sports people, like Josh, you've been helping for lots of years. Like those kids just, both Joshes, they like just cling to you. They love you guys. They're like, oh, you're our heroes. So yeah, thank you guys so much for being here. All right, we will keep moving. We're almost done. I am not going to give you any kind of specific rules. Just dress appropriately. Don't wear anything that you wouldn't wear to, whatever. I'm not going to say church because we don't have to dress like church, but cover the things that need to be covered. We're all good there. All right. Like I said before, never be alone with a camper. That is the biggest thing. Never be one-on-one. This is to protect you. Kids will say things, kids will remember that something happened, or kids will interpret things a certain way, and if there is no one else there to be like, no, that's not exactly what happened, let me help you understand what did, then it's your word against theirs, and we don't ever want to put any of you in that position. We trust you guys. We have done your background checks. We have called your references. You guys are here because we trust you, and we know that you guys are amazing and will do what needs to be done, but we want to protect you too, so that nobody can ever say there was any chance that anything ever happens. So if a kid has to go to the bathroom, if a kid has to go somewhere, grab another kid. If you can grab another leader, that's fine, but a lot of times that's too hard to have two leaders gone from the same group. But at the very least, just make sure you take two kids. The example I usually give is like, okay, Susie has to go to the bathroom. Hey, Karen, guess what? You're coming with us too, field trip. Whether or not she actually has to go to the bathroom, but take them with you. And in the bathrooms, like I said, don't ever go in with them. Don't be behind a closed door with any number of kids if you don't have another adult with you. But just stand with your foot in the door and have them do their thing. Lost and found. If you go to this church, you know that we have a lost and found in the gym hallway. Do not use that all week. We have a separate lost and found just for Camp VCB that will be on a table or a cart right outside the sanctuary. We want that to be like right there, front and center, where everybody sees it as they're coming in or leaving. So those are the items that we find all week, and then that's where people can go to find their lost items. Parking lot. When you guys come in the morning, just follow the signs to park where we need you to park that day. It may change from day to day as a certain group has to be out there or whatever. It's mostly in the middle. We used to say park in the very, very, very far back, but that actually interferes with that giant line of cars going around. So park in the middle, in the the main middle part of the parking lot, but just follow the signs and cones as to where to park. If you guys live really close and you want to walk or ride your bike, feel free. And then on Friday, check in with your champions to see what you need to do to help them after the kids are gone. Like, if you have time. If you guys are siblings and you're going home with your siblings that are getting picked up, totally fine. We get that. But if you're an adult, or if you drove yourself, or if your parents can wait and come pick you up later, see what we can do to clean up, because we have to transform this building back into a church when we are done on Friday. So we have a ton of cleanup that has to be done. Each group has things they need to sort through, throw away, clean up, put away for next year. We have to reset a bunch of rooms. There's just a lot of things that have to be done. And then we start setting up for family fun night. So if you can help on Friday, that would be awesome. Let me know. We will feed you lunch after all the kids are gone, and then we start doing all of that fun stuff. But yeah, check in with your champions to see if they specifically need anything. All right, this is, we haven't covered this in this meeting before, but I wanted to touch on this because if there are any issues that come up. So I want all of you to know that you are empowered to deal with whatever comes up, and you don't have to put up with things that are not going well. I think we've had some volunteers in the past that just weren't quite sure what to do, and so they kept trying to maybe deal with the issue, but then it got bigger, and it didn't come to me until it became like a massive issue. So I don't want that to happen. We know kids. We know the normal level, especially boys, of energy and excitement and just the little things they do that are messing around. I trust you guys to handle that stuff, all right? A lot of times you're going to have to say something, you're going to have to separate, you're going to have to maybe, come up with some creative things like, I'm going to sit with you now, or hey, here's a job for you to do. Those kind of things. But anything more than that just normal level of kid, I want you guys to think of the 3 steps. So you are the leader. You try to deal with it. You talk to that kid, do whatever you need to do to try to get him to understand. Not whatever, no physical. But talk to that kid, try to deal with the situation yourself. And if that doesn't work, immediately go to your champion. I don't want you guys struggling while, they're so busy, they're leading the group. Like, no, if that kid's not listening to you and it's not getting resolved, go right to the champion. And then they will deal with it. And if they can't, if that kid is still not behaving, not following instructions, not doing what they're supposed to do, then it comes to me. So it should only be 3 steps. I don't want you guys having to deal with like, oh my gosh, you just did that for the 8th time today, and he won't listen, and he's not listening, or she. So anything that like you don't feel comfortable dealing with, or they're not listening, they're not respecting you guys, they're not doing what they're actually here to do, follow those 3 steps so that I know about things, right away, and can talk to the kid, talk to the parents, see what we can do to make sure everybody has a good week. There have been some things in the past, like I said, that I didn't find out about until later. And it actually really impacted the groups in a negative way, because all the kids just saw that this kid was disobeying and not doing the things he should be doing, and it was kind of bringing everybody down. So I do not want that to happen. We want a successful, awesome week for everybody. I don't know if anybody wanted to share like a possible example, if you guys need to like role play this, or if you want to talk scenarios. I don't want to keep you a super long time, but like if anybody thinks of something that has happened and wanted to give an example of like, hey, this is a good time of, going to your champion or going right to Amy or whatever it is. If not, like I said, totally fine. There are certain things that we cannot tolerate at all. So if that kid is hitting you, hitting other kids, any kind of, pulling hair, biting you, whatever, like come right to me. Let your champion know, that the champion should make the call to come right to me. But yeah, like that's like a 1 strike. There are certain things that we can't tolerate, and they do just bring the whole group down and can cause harm to other kids. So right away, some things have to have just 1 strike. But yeah, if it's a kid that really does just struggle, they're not trying to be a horrible kid. They're not trying to, be super belligerent. It's just they struggle. They have a lot of, they have a hard time listening or doing what the group is doing or impulse control, whatever that is. You are welcome to work with them, but talk to your champion about coming up with like a plan for that kind of behavior management, to be creative, to give them a specific job to do, to, put them with a different group, whatever, some steps are. We don't want to just punish every kid who's making a bad choice, but I do trust you guys to, figure out like when that's something that, okay, we can redirect, we can deal with this, we can help these kids make good choices versus we have to stop this right now. And these are the steps we're going to take. So I just want to let you all know that you have the authority to do those kind of things. I want you guys to not feel like trapped in your roles. So thank you. All right, switching gears. In case of rain, if you've looked at the forecast, Monday and Tuesday are not looking good. God is in charge. We praise him no matter what. If he sends rain Monday and Tuesday morning, so be it. We will make it work. I do pray that he doesn't, but it would be great if it started at noon. If it does, we'll have a plan on helping the groups that need to be outside. So soccer is happy to play soccer in the rain, but of course if it's lightning, thunder, and that kind of stuff, they can't. But even like basketball or hockey, whichever groups might be doing some rotations outside, we will just figure it out to bring everybody in, even if we need to rotate through the gym even more. All right, family fun night. If you guys have not signed up to come to that or to help with that, please do. If you want to just come and enjoy it, totally fine. Invite your friends, families, neighbors. If you want to help out, you are also totally welcome to do that. If you have not signed up to help with that yet and you want to, hopefully you've all done the whole text word thing where you text a word to our church number. FFN help, all one word. So just like you did camp help for this is Family Fun Night, FFN help, no spaces. And that will take you to a form where you can put your information in. And then Tanya, who I mentioned earlier, will get a hold of you about scheduling you for a slot. If you want to attend and you just want to help for like one time slot or two, like a half hour or an hour, then you would still pay and enjoy the rest of the time like with your family. But if you want to help for like more than an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever, the whole time, we'll give you a break to eat dinner. You don't have to pay. You're here to help. And then this Sunday, like I mentioned, we're going to be here all day setting up. So check with your lead volunteer. Sometimes I call them lead volunteers. Sometimes I call them champions. Check with that person to see if they need some extra help to come set up. We have some general setup that we do, but for that, it kind of needs to be adults or adults with their like youth volunteers with them. I can't use a ton of youth for that, but check with your champions to see if they need anything. But yeah, if you're an adult and you want to come help Sunday, let me know. Again, we'll feed you lunch right after church, and then we'll get started. The lunch will be around 12:30 if you don't come here, and then we'll start around 1. And then Family Fun Night, like I said, we start that set up right after we're Friday, as soon as we finish cleaning up. All right, so that is my last slide. The biggest thing, pray. Pray, pray, pray. Pray is not the least we can do. It is the most we can do. Cover everything in prayer. Pray for me. Pray for our team. Pray for all the rest of the volunteers. Pray for these kids who are coming. Pray for their families. Just pray that everything goes really, really well and that we can focus on God and point others to Him. All right. I'm going to skip questions for just a moment. After we wrap up, you are welcome to stay. If you have any general questions for me, come on up. Well, hold on. I'm going to ask you if you have any questions that you think affect other people, and then we can do those here. But if you have like specific questions about, that you don't think affect others, come on up afterwards. But also, Karin is going to take all of you that are going to lead a small group, and you're going to go down the hall a little bit and into the cubbies room, 4s and 5s room, whatever you want to call it, room 120, and she will give you all the small group materials and explain all of that to you guys. So, first of all, does anybody have any general questions? Yes.
On your way out, small group leaders, when you're going across the hall, all your guides are on this table. Just pick them up, alphabetized by last name on your way out of the room. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks. If you didn't get your shirt, grab it. Make sure you mark your name off so I know who has theirs and who doesn't. All right. Any questions that you think might affect other people? Yes.
How do we know where the volunteers go? Are they have their separate rooms, or do they?
If you have not gotten an email from me, it's because you're doing science or basketball, and I was desperately trying to fill the last couple spots, so I had not sent those out yet. I will do that tonight, I promise. So if you did not get an email, I think it was 2 days ago, I emailed all the groups except basketball and science. I will send that tonight, and that lets you know where you're scheduled and where you're helping, what you're doing, all of that stuff, who your champions are, so that you can contact them with any questions specifically about your group. And that they might contact you with some stuff they want you to know in advance, they might not. But yes, thank you. Good question. Sorry, science and basketball people. We're working on it. Yes.
Just curious, of the 218 kids, how many of them do we know are in church?
I will have to go through and make that list. I have not done that yet.
Okay.
That's a very good question. Usually it's roughly 50-50, like come to our church and don't. Maybe like 40 come here, 60 don't. But a lot do come from other churches. Those of you who have kids, a lot of families tend to VBS hop all summer. That's fine. So yeah, I need to look at the list and see like those 3 groups, like don't have a church at all, another church, and our church. Just, yeah, it's good info to know. But yeah, I can share that in the week at one of our meetings. That's a very good question. Anything else? All right, I'm going to pray for us. And then, like I said, if you're a small group leader, go back there, find your folder, and go out to the other room. If you have any specific questions for me, let me know. Please grab more snacks. And then, yeah, you're free to go. Or if your ride's not coming for a little while, hang out. All right, Heavenly Father, thank you so much for this amazing group of people. Thank you that you have brought each of us together to form this team to serve you and to serve VCB and to serve Barrington and beyond this next week. Be with us, be in us, be through us. Be part of everything we say, everything we think, and everything we do, Lord. Give us the words to say. Help us when we are struggling. Give us energy, especially as it gets to the middle or the end of the week. And empower each of us. Help us know that you love us and you have filled us with your spirit and you will give us what we need to be able to do your work. Thank you so much for these people. Thank you for this team. Thank you for this church. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.